Welcome to Art 101 with Herr Burgher.
Art 101 with Mr. Burgher.
Well, hello again, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Art 101 with me, Mr. Burgher, a professional artist and master educator attempting to bring you the best in art historical content. As always, I appreciate the likes, shares, subscribes, or any interactions that you might provide to this video.
No way!
Recently, I was on a trip back to Des Moines, Iowa, and stopped by a little neighborhood that's kind of known for their historic sorts of things, antique shops, things like that. And as I perused through there, I stumbled across this painting, a print by Victor Vasarely. It appeared to be a signed print. I tried to convince my wife to buy it, and wasn't quite in the budget at that time, so I had to pass on it. But as I looked at that print and as I reflect on that print and that experience, I thought it would be a prime time, while it's fresh in my mind, to talk about the artist responsible for that print, Victor Vasarely.
As a leader and founder of the op art movement, Victor Vasarely is a very important contemporary artist. Originally from Hungary, he began his upper education studying medicine at the University of Budapest. After 2 years of this, he gave that up to study painting at a private academy also in Budapest. He would remain there for 2 years before moving on to the Műhely Academy under Sándor Bortnyik. The Műhely Academy was modeled after the Bauhaus in Germany. The Bauhaus tradition was responsible for revolutionizing art and design in the early 20th century. There, Vasarely focused on graphic design and typography. By 1930, he was on his way out. And where would he go?
Paris, France, that's where.
Where he worked as a graphic artist. It was there that he began to put his interest in perspective and optical effects to the test in a series of optical experiments. These experiments in color and optics were supported by other artists with similar interests. Artists like Vasily Kandinsky, Joseph Albers, Kazimir Malevich, and Johannes Itten. Among other things, these tests would confirm that warm colors advance and cool colors recede when they're viewed. This knowledge would influence much of his later works. In 1946, Vasarely decided that he would focus on his geometric abstracted art that would become known as op art.
It's absolutely true.
He began to work primarily in oils in 1943. In 1951, the idea of op art was founded, with his works that would center on optical effects or illusion. These effects were enhanced through varying color relationships and geometric designs that would create pattern. Through his op art works, he wanted to evoke emotion through art. He would say, "Every form is a base for color, every color is an attribute of a form." Using mathematics and geometry, his artworks would receive numerous awards and honors, as well as being featured in a great number of exhibitions. Artists that make lots and lots of artwork still have to survive and pay their bills. Artists must make works that can sell. Most artists spend many hours creating works, but Vasarely was a little bit unique in this way. He came up with a new revolutionary idea.
You know, the man at the paint store, he said, to be a great artist, you have to suffer. I'm suffering like crazy.
How many people can afford to buy a large work of artwork for hundreds of thousands of dollars? Well, not too many people. In the 1950s and 60s, he was getting around $15,000 for one of his large paintings. But not a lot of people could afford that price point, so he had an idea. Why not make less expensive prints that could be signed and then making them a little bit more affordable to the common person? Again, in the 50s and 60s, that resulted in selling a print for somewhere between $70 to $1,000, depending upon the size of the print, and thus setting up a spectrum of values between the smaller prints, the larger prints, and the original artworks. If his artwork was owned by more people, it would make his name more recognized as well, and then making his works more valuable. He was making money, and it was a win for the buyer, whose investment in the art would become more valuable. And it was also a win for the common person, who now had access to really great artworks that they could afford.
It was priceless.
His economically priced works was a trend that is common with artists today, and it all began with a revolutionary idea by Victor Vasarely. By 1976, he opened the Vasarely Foundation in France, which was inaugurated by the French president and lover of modern art, Georges Pompidou. In 1978, he would open the Vasarely Museum in his hometown in Hungary, and a second Vasarely Museum opened in Budapest in 1987. Victor Vasarely would pass in his adopted country of France at the age of 90.
Hey, come on, getting shots.
There's the story. I love that one.
I'm hungry. Let's get a taco.